thank you everybody for for being with us tonight. So if you're speaking, then please remember to unmute yourself because I'm just about to mute everybody. So fingers crossed, everybody should be now muted, and we will begin the presentation. So thank you for making the most of the time to actually be with us tonight. So which is greatly appreciated. So what we're looking to get through tonight is to 4 presentations around understanding who your audience is, how to have an impact at public events, making the most of recruitment events, and Sam pulling it all together. And there will be the opportunity at the end for questions and answers. So any questions, any thoughts you have, please put them in the chat or leave them to later on. This evening has been put together by the 4 of us. So Sam, Colin, Maggie and myself that you can see there. And we're also joined by Manolo from my district, District 1100. So thank you to all of you for joining us and to the team for putting this together. So we've got some learning, what we hope that you will get from this session, that fingers crossed that you'll all seen. So we're looking to pass on knowledge to be able to give you, in summary ways, to be able to pass on the gift of Rotary to others that you have the opportunity to. So without further ado, I'll hand over the proverbial baton and ask Colin to introduce himself and take us through understanding your audience.
Good evening, everybody. Do you want to go on to that slide? Thank you. Before we talk about Rotary, I want to talk about people. One of the biggest mistakes we make in face-to-face conversations is assuming that what motivates us motivates everyone else, and it doesn't. People don't decide to get involved because of facts or structures. They decide because something feels relevant to them at that moment of their life. The key mindset shift is this. We don't start by talking about Rotary. We start by understanding the person in front of us. If you remember one thing from today, remember this. Good conversations don't recruit people. They make people feel understood. Next slide, please, Andy. That's it. On here, you can see I've listed lots of different age groups and different types of people and what they care about. Every group we talk to is carrying different pressures, priorities, and motivations. Someone who's retired is often looking for purpose and connection, whereas somebody that's younger may be looking for skills, experience, or a sense of belonging. Someone in full-time work is usually short on time and wants flexibility. Most people don't wake up thinking about joining Rotary. What they're thinking is, does this fit with my lifestyle right now? So our job isn't to change them, it's to recognise what matters to them and connect Rotary to that in simple human language. Next slide, please, Andy.
Before I move on, I forgot to say that we will be sharing the slides and some cheat sheets afterwards. So please take your own notes. There's no need to take detailed notes because we will be sharing the recording, the slides and some cheat sheets.
Next slide. That's it, Andy. Thank you. The first minute of a conversation matters more than the next 10. If we open with titles, roles, or explanations, people switch off. But if we open with curiosity, people lean in. The best openers are simple and human. What keeps you busy at the moment? Or what do you enjoy about living here? Notice that none of those mention Rotary. That's deliberate. We listen first, we learn something about the person, and only then do we decide whether Rotary is even relevant to them. Next slide, please, Andy. Once someone has told you something about themselves, your job is not to explain Rotary, it's to respond to what you've just heard. Reflect it back, acknowledge it, then connect one small part of Rotary to one thing they care about. Keep the language simple. Short sentences, real stories. People remember people, not projects. The most powerful hooks are about impact, people, and flexibility, never obligation. If you feel yourself explaining too much, that's usually the moment to stop talking and start listening again. Next slide, please, Andy. The goal of a good conversation is not to sign somebody up, it's to open a door. So instead of pushing, we offer gentle next steps. Would you like to come along and see? Or can I send a link? No pressure. Always give people a way out. Paradoxically, that's what makes them more likely to say yes. End the conversation positively, even if they don't take the next step. Because even if Rotary isn't right for them today, they should walk away thinking those were decent people doing something worthwhile. Next steps. So what's an elevator pitch? Well, when you want to talk to people, it's something that you should have, and everybody should have it in, every Rotarian should have it in your back pocket. And an elevator pitch is a short rehearsed explanation of who you are or what you represent. Delivered in time it would take to share a lift with somebody. Its purpose isn't to explain everything, it's to create understanding and spark interest. And for Rotary, this matters because people ask us all the time, so what is Rotary? And if we hesitate or all say something different, the opportunity is lost. A good elevator pitch gives every Rotarian the confidence to answer clearly, consistent, and naturally. You use it in everyday moments, at community events, networking, chatting with neighbours, talking to potential members, partners, or sponsors, whenever time and attentions are limited. In terms of length, most elevator pitches are between 10 and 30 seconds, which is roughly 25 to 50 words. Usually, 1 or 2 sentences is enough. It's not a sales pitch, it's not a history lesson, and it's not a list of projects. Think of it as a conversation starter. And if people are interested, that's when they want you to say more. And as you can see on the screen there, I put the standard Rotary pitch in, but you can tailor that to your community that really matters to your Rotary club. Next slide, please, Andy. So in summary, as we finish, I want to bring this back to something very simple: people. Rotary doesn't struggle because people don't care. It struggles when people don't feel understood. And we've talked about the idea that one size never fits all. A retired person, a young person, someone in work, someone out of work, they all care about different things. And as they're all asking the same silent question, does this fit my life right now? The most powerful thing we can do is start our conversation with curiosity, not explanation. Ask better questions, listen properly. Let people tell us what matters to them before we decide what Rotary story to share or whether to share one at all. When we do talk about Rotary, we keep it human, simple language, real examples, one connection at a time, not committees, not history, not obligation, just people helping people locally. And finally, we don't push, we open doors, we invite, we don't sell. We leave people feeling respected, even if they say no, because good conversations don't recruit people, they build trust. And trust is what brings people back when the time is right. If every one of us just had a better conversation, Rotary's future takes care of itself. Lastly, if Rotary wants to grow, it doesn't start with better marketing, it starts with better conversation, one person at a time. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to pass over to Maggie, who's going to go on to the next section.
Thank you very much, Colin. That was lots of great advice there. My name is Maggie Hughes. I'm the Public Image Lead for District 1150, which is Rotary in Southern Wales. And I noticed from Mary's comment, there are 4 districts, Mary, and we make up a cluster. So yes, it would be a very big district if we were all in one. But as I say, thank you very much to Colin. So the next question is, where are we most likely to meet all these different groups of people? And I think you'll probably agree, it's at your next community event. We only have a short time to talk about this evening, so it'll be a few ideas and we'll send out more information to expand on this session. But firstly, we need to make sure we are very visible and attractive at this event so that people want to come to speak to us. We need a good planning strategy, and I would suggest that the same planning format will usually apply to both small as well as our larger events and projects. So we're going to start by creating a hypothetical event where we have a Rotary stand at a summer community fair. But I will also share a few photographs of other events that I've organised. Once you and your members start the process of planning your event, don't wait to think about promoting it, but build in a proper public image strategy right at the initial planning stage, including a unique hashtag. Maybe one of the easiest ways to create your plan is by dividing it into before, during, and after. So let's have a look first of all, if we can go to the next slide, please. If we look at before, oh gosh, that's awful, isn't it? Let's, if we look at the before, we need to create an interesting publicity poster which is relevant to the event, possibly using Canva. And please can I ask you that you ensure that you use the correct Rotary branding. I always say to people, please do not Google the Rotary logo, because all sorts of things like you can see on the screen here will come up, and these logos are 14 years out of date, and we have to give a consistent message to everybody. So please always use the Rotary Brand Centre. And if we go on to the next slide, please, there you'll find the correct Rotary branding, showing the Rotary Master brand, which you can personalise to your club, and the Mark of Excellence. So everything you need is on that, on the Rotary Brand Centre. If you have any doubts or queries about your branding, please speak to your district public image lead, and we will be more than happy to help you. Can we go on to the next slide, please, Andy? Let's make
I'm on a Zoom meeting.
Oh, hang on a sec. We need to, oh, there we go. We need to make a list of all your outlets for promoting your event. You've got your various Rotary social media platforms, your club and district websites, local community council social media pages, your local radio stations, local community press, and if you're raising funds for a charity, you can also promote on their social media platforms and tag in whoever you can at this stage. If you really want to do a deep dive into the best platforms to use for the various age groups that we were talking about earlier, there's lots of advice on sites like Metricool, Data Reporter, and Viral Marketing. If we can go to the next slide, please, Andy. However, I always ask people to be aware that social media is very, very transient. So you always need to have a good website presence, which is a more permanent platform for your club. Include the link to your website on all your social media posts and posters. It allows your own members as well as the public to access information about your club programme and projects, and regularly check and refresh your website to keep it relevant. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is one of my favourite pre-event social media posts, and this is when one of our Rotary clubs organises their duck race. This is a poster they used about 3 months before the actual event, but they always start early. It obviously shows it's going to be a fun event, and they created a plan of pre-publicity social media posts and live events in their town to really pump up the volume for this event. So I think you'll agree that's a good fun poster where their senior quack is training the ducks ready for the duck race later that year. Build a relationship with your local press and radio. Create a save the date press release and send to local media. Contact your local radio stations and ask if you can be interviewed to promote your event. Who wouldn't want to interview somebody who trains ducks? You could also include in your public image planning a weekly countdown to build up the anticipation. Can we go to the next slide, please? Make a list of all the people you would like to attend or visit your stand. Always invite the Lord Lieutenant. They're always very keen to support charities. Your local MP, the Mayor, local councillors, and local personnel, well, not necessarily local personalities. Steve Brown drove for miles to come to an event that we organised. But I think it's important that you ask one of your members to take on the responsibility of contacting them and liaising with them beforehand to make all the arrangements for their visit, including obtaining any permissions required to use their photographs and short interviews on both your social media and local news. If working with a charity, also talk to them and encourage them to invite their patrons. Invite local journalists, trainee journalists, if you have any in your area, and your local radio station presenters to come along and interview your local dignitaries and personalities on the day. So can you see how we start to build up the pre-publicity, and this could be a great help to your event. If we go to the next slide, please, Andy. We also need to look at preparing your stand and think about how you want your stand to look. Do you have a Rotary branded gazebo? Do you have your own club promotional items? If not, are you able to borrow from your assistant governor or district public image lead to be able to decorate your space? Will you be selling items on the stand? For instance, if you have any polio merchandise, wristbands, teddies, etc., are you having a tombola, a cake stall, or a human fruit machine game? And think about whether you need a card machine on the day. And you need to make sure your stand is welcoming, colourful, interesting, and accessible. So if we go to the next slide, please, Andy. These are photographs from the National Eisteddfod in Wales when we took a stand in the volunteer marquee 2 years ago. We were given a small space, as you can see. If you look at the before section, quite a small space with a table and 2 chairs. So we had to be rather creative in making it more welcoming. So if we look at the after one, if you have a space with a small table like that and a couple of chairs, just turn the table around, put some colourful posters up, and you pull up banners and have some cloths, cover the table so you can hide things underneath as well, and have a couple of chairs there as well. If we go back to your community event, if you have the space, take a small table and a couple of chairs that you can put outside the gazebo. And this encourages the public to sit down and have a rest. And this then gives you the opportunity to talk to them. Near the table, please create a poster which should include a QR code advertising links to your various social media platforms. And this could be for viewing photographs from the day, because obviously the people who stop and talk to you, they could be featured in those photographs. Have a visitor's book to take details of people who visit your stand, because you might want to invite that person to one of your other events or projects. Do you have a hands-on project? Do you have a garden that you regularly look after? A memory cafe where you and your members need a few more volunteers to help out? If you do, create a few interesting posters to advertise these projects and put them on your stand so you can refer to them and possibly have a personalised trifold leaflet with this information that you can also hand out. And then you can follow up with anybody who's interested as soon as possible after the event, whom you might have been chatting to, because if you follow them up, these leads are red hot, okay? Don't let them forget you. If we can go on to the next slide, please. Make sure you have a supply of volunteer leaflets and postcards to hand out as well, but make sure they're personalised with your club name and contact details in plain sight. All these are available and lots more on the Rotary GBNI website in the public image section. Think about whether you require a rota for the day, and if so, make sure your members are briefed, as in Colin's presentation, on how to speak positively to the public. Will all your members be wearing Rotary branded clothing? Please don't assume they will. You need to remind them. And just remind them that every Rotarian is a walking, talking advert for your club. Plus they need to interact with the public rather than just be chatting to each other. Can we go to the next slide, please? If we're looking at on the day itself, so if we're looking at during the event, using your iPhone, create a story. And if you haven't got one, grab a member who has. Create a story of the day from setting up to dismantling. These are a few photographs from a World Polio Day event that I organised, but the same applies to any event. Publicise where your stand is situated or promote your stand number if you have one, and let everyone know what you are doing and invite them to visit your stand. Create interest by posting action photographs and videos to your social media pages throughout the day. Make sure you have the public's permission, so you include short interviews with them and ask them what they're enjoying about the day. And don't forget those local dignitaries and personalities. Interview them as well and upload straight away. Tag in the local press and radio stations and keep creating the excitement for the event that you're part of. I know you'll all be aware of photographing children, etc. Just make sure all your members understand Rotary's compliance guidelines. If you're at a large show, encourage the MC to give you regular shout outs the day. And if we can go to the next slide. If we're looking at after the event, I know you'll be tired, but as quickly as possible, upload more action photographs and videos to your social media platforms and websites, including feedback to all your supporters, thanking them for their help, especially your local dignitaries and personalities, and let them know how valuable their support was in making the day such a success. This helps to ensure that they will want to come back to your next event. Follow up anyone who said they would like to volunteer at one of your projects. Arrange to have a coffee and chat about how they can help, and give them the date and time of your next event and project. Promote a spirit of cooperation by taking part in your volunteering activities. And if you are raising funds, let everybody know how much you raised and how those funds will be spent. And if we can go to the next slide, please. Andy, thank you. We always say follow the money. If the funds are being donated towards a project, take action photographs of your members taking part in the project and show the impact to your community. Please, 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 no big check presentation, no chain gangs. The press don't like them. It's all about storytelling. So hopefully I've given you a few ideas to help you create a successful event where you can interact with lots of people of different ages, making Rotary visible and expanding your reach. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand over to Andy.
Thank you both. And so that was great. Colin started us with how to talk to people individually with our elevator pitches. Maggie very nicely took us on to how to create, how to public image before, during and after an event. And I hope there's lots of tips that you can take away there. We're very lucky with our cluster where the 4 districts come together to have some very talented and experienced public image leads that I'm very pleased in my role to be able to coordinate. So I'm Andy Jarrett from District 1100. I'm going to talk for a few minutes to help you and your club make the most of recruitment events, which is a different sort of style of events. And that might be, you could call them different things that you want to make them. But the main purpose generally will be to recruit members, to motivate existing members, and to highlight volunteering opportunities and perhaps present those checks. But remember what Maggie said, it's not about chain gangs, it's not about big checks. Find different ways of actually explaining the impact that the funds that your club has raised, the hard work that you've put into it, has actually had. Some people call them interest meetings, some call them showcase meetings. I've even heard them called Discover Rotary, which seems to me is a great idea. And, but it's all about encouraging people to come along and finding out about Rotary. And it could be just your club, or you could link with a neighbouring club to actually make something happen. So the purposes of such an evening, as we've mentioned, are to recruit new members, the essential lifeblood of all of our clubs, passing on that gift of Rotary. Motivate and inform recently joined members of the club, because there is no point in recruiting a lot of members if we're losing them out through the back door because we've not made them feel welcome, know what's going on, and feel involved actually within our club. And it's a great way to build on the things that Colin and Maggie have said, to raise some awareness of your club actually in your community, be that online, be that through local press and radio, any route that you choose to do. And at the bottom line is it's all about growing Rotary service in your community. So it seems to me the keys to such an event is getting existing members on board so that they're aware of and they've bought in to what's happening. They're motivated and equipped to invite guests along. Yes, you can put things in your local radio, on your local radio. Yes, you can put things on social media, in local newspapers. But most people will attend an event like this because somebody has asked them to do so. And that somebody will probably be somebody that's followed the wise words around elevator pitches we heard Colin say. Or as Maggie has, I spoke eloquently about at an event. All of those are wonderful opportunities to pass on the gift of Rotary. So when it comes to your morning, it might be part of your breakfast meeting, your lunch meeting, your evening, wherever you are. The sort of things that you might want to include within your presentation is some information about what is Rotary. Some things that are happening locally, because many people join a worldwide organisation such as Rotary to make an impact actually locally. Explain some reasons why people should join Rotary. What's in it for me? Don't shy away from talking about the fees and obligations about membership, but just remember to dispel the illusions that some people might have about weekly men in suits, etc., the attendance rule and things, etc., along the way. Make it clear the next steps, how people can join and be involved, but above all, make people feel welcome and part of that. Excuse me, coughing. And as part of that, think about who your target audience is, who you've encouraged your members to invite, who the publicity, the public image you put out there has been attractive to and has come along. Think about what it is that's likely to make membership inviting to them, and put it in language that they can understand. And do that in a way that makes people feel warm and welcoming, but there's some actual structure to the section. That there are handovers between people, various meetings. The IT has been tested beforehand. If you're using a PA system, you know that it works. You've got people lined up to do. Consider whether you're going to offer refreshments to people along the way. And that might, to make things happen. And whether you're going to hold it at a time and a place where your club usually meets. You may not have room to do that. You might want to do it in a different way. You might be a club that usually meets for an hour and you want to give yourself a bit more time. All those things are options and could work actually for you. Some top tips that I've seen from being involved in a number of these type of events with my own club that have been successful, and also even over the last fortnight, having had the privilege to attend 2 different styles of these events by 2 different clubs near to me. People want to join something where they can make a difference, they can be involved. To have a program of events and activities and speakers lined up that are not overwhelming, but at least there's a sense that there's something going on in their local community that they can feel welcome and being involved with. Perhaps consider a short talk by a member about what they've gained by joining your club. And preferably find a member that looks and sounds and feels like the type of member that you're trying to attract. Make sure you take the contact details of everybody that's come along. You thank them, promptly for attending and being with you. But perhaps above all, keep the evening simple. Don't use jargon, in-jokes, slogans, messages and things that may not resonate with people that you don't know along the way. So I hope those top tips have been useful to give you some thoughts and ideas about how your club might want to put together a Discover Rotary evening, an interest meeting, an open evening, call it what you want to. And I'll now hand over to Sam Cross, who's going to pull all the threads together and take you through a few thoughts that she's got around public image to grow our clubs. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Andy. So you'll move it on for me, is that right?
Yep.
Right, so next one, please. I think a lot of what I've got to say, you've already heard, but it's about bringing it all together. So next slide, please. I think one of the big things that's really important is for all Rotary clubs and all Rotarians is about engagement. It's about how do we create interest, build momentum and grow Rotary. At the heart of everything we do, we should be looking at growing Rotary. And I think by being here as a cluster, in line with what Andy said, we'll be growing Rotary consistently across the 4 districts. So this is a good start. Next slide, please. I'm just going to say both Colin and Andy have said people don't join Rotary, they join a purpose. Andy was saying about people being involved and getting involved in their local community. If a club has a project, it can highlight the project to the wider community and get people to ask people to come in, volunteer and participate within the club. Also, it gives the club a purpose. Then people aren't necessarily just coming for lunch or an evening meal. And this is no detriment to any particular club, but the more they do together as a group, the better the relationships between the members and the more they can do within the community. Next slide, Andy. Communication is a big thing. If we don't communicate clearly, people won't engage, but we need to communicate with the other person in the way that they want us to, not in the way that we want to. So going back to a few years, there was a young man joined the club I was in. He was in his mid-20s. He was a millennial. He used to, he's now 5 years old, 6 years older, but he would like to send emails. He would like to use WhatsApp or messages. He would also be messaging club members in the evening after work. Whereas the older club members, they didn't like to reply any evenings. They didn't reply as soon as the millennial individual wanted. So I think the more we shape our communication to meet the person we're communicating with, the better. The young man did leave the club. He is still in Rotary, but the club couldn't communicate with his needs. So if we couldn't communicate with a member, then we're not necessarily going to connect with a potential member. Next one, please. And that goes back to exactly what we're saying there. So going back to what Colin was saying, who's our audience? Our audience are possible new members, possibly people within our local community, possibly our current members, particularly across the districts. I know we have the Impact portal coming out, but sometimes people like to communicate with their fellow clubs, their neighbouring clubs, to find out what events they've got going on and whether they can participate. So it's not just about getting the public involved, it's about getting members involved in other club events. We've got past members who would like to come back to any club events. We have families of members and, as I've said, other Rotary clubs. Within the communication, we need to remember to use open versus closed questions. So we can ask people, what do they know about Rotary? Generally, that's I was going to say quite a low level. So we need to have a quick answer. We need to find out how we can help people. You could start a conversation, perhaps we're at an event, perhaps you're at a stand. You could say, how did you get here today? Where did you come from? And we need to sort of communicate, ask people to communicate with us, or encourage people to communicate with us. And I think we also need to encourage our club members to communicate, not just one or two people within the club. Engagement and conversation is vital to maintaining and recruiting members. Next slide, please. So going back to what Maggie was saying, it's about telling human stories. It's about real impact, real people, real change. One of the big things that's come through with Facebook and Facebook advertising now are Facebook Reels. Facebook Reels get they get shared, they get high impact. So if you have an event, then ask your public image lead, if you're not the public image lead, or if you are the public image lead, try to take Facebook's offer of creating your photos into Facebook Reels. I think reviews as well. We don't necessarily in Rotary talk about reviews. I think on Facebook, if you can get reviews from real people, they really are valued. They really are of value to your club, because anyone who's looking at your Facebook page can click on the reviews and click on the individual's name to show that they're a real person. So I guess with some companies, some of the reviews on their website, you don't know if they're real or if they're fake, but on Facebook, you can have a look at the individual's profile and it would be validating your club. Next one, please. Maggie spoke about being visible in the community, holding events in public spaces, building partnerships with charity schools and businesses. Also, when you are building relationships with charity schools and businesses, it's about tagging them in your social media posts, sharing their content, and engaging with them in the future. You can also, when you're being visible, consider corporate membership as well as individual membership. So it's about being inclusive to all who may come to your event. Next slide, please. Consistent posting, and I know I'm guilty of not posting possibly as consistently as I should. Consistent posting will raise your profile on social media. So it's not just posting like, oh, I've forgotten to post today, I must post. It's about keeping your message clear. Everyone has something to offer, and everyone has something to participate. I have we've got Faces, Action, Energy, not just club meetings. However, my personal thoughts are that the club needs to be reflected as accurately as it could be in the best possible light. I know that's not always easy. Next slide, Andy. We were talking about public interest, and it's about keeping it clear, keeping it simple, having a friendly, informal tone. I know Rotary was set itself up as the first networking organisation, was a first networking organisation, but some of the most effective networking organisations have this in hand. So it might be worth having a look and seeing what other organisations are doing, how they're attracting public interest, and perhaps learning from that. Next slide, Andy. I think we're at an event like this tonight. We're talking about open evenings, the community showcases, but it's all about offering opportunities, being inclusive, focusing on what the community wants, focusing on flexibility as well. So it's not necessarily just one club. It could be collaborating with a neighbourly club to give people options of attending Rotary and doing Rotary the way that they wish to do it. Next slide, Andy. This one, I think, can be quite tough, and it goes back to what Colin was saying about the elevator pitch. It might be worth within the clubs having a session before an event, like Maggie was saying about preparing for an event, so everyone can say what Rotary is, what Rotary means to them, why they joined, and the difference it makes within the community, or the difference it's made to them as an individual. And as Maggie was saying about personal invitations, bringing a guest, and sharing posts online. So people join people. It's about building relationships. You can prime people with the right answers if you need to. Next slide, please. Again, this is a bit of repetition here, but thank anyone who's come to your club. Can maybe come for lunch, maybe go an evening meal, or maybe come to an event. Thank them, send them an invite. Within Looe, they have a Looe Island swim every year. They have over 1,000 entries, and they have access to a database with people with 1,000, as I say, 1,000 emails, 1,000 bookings. After the swim, I've advised them to thank people for coming along, and then invite those people to go to a Rotary club. And if it's not the Looe Valley Rotary Club, say there are other Rotary clubs are available, and if you would like to attend, please get in touch with us and we'll put you in touch with your nearest club. So I think it's also thinking more widely across the district, across the cluster, and across Rotary International as a whole. Next slide, please. That's it. Thanks, Andy.
So now is the opportunity for some questions and answers, sharing your thoughts and things. We've got about 20 minutes. Massive thank you to Colin, Maggie and Sam for sharing your thoughts and things. So let me just leave, one more thing with you. One of the biggest reasons that people don't invite visitors, don't talk to people about Rotary, because they think they have to sell Rotary. But the truth is, talking with people works best when we don't sell at all. Talking and inviting isn't about convincing someone to join. It's about simply offering them an opportunity. When we sell, people feel pressured. When we invite, people feel respected. A great invitation sounds more like curiosity than persuasion. You're saying, I'm part of a vibrant organisation group that meets weekly and focuses on community impact. I think you get value from seeing it. Would you like to come along and meet us? Find your own elevator pitch, find your own words, and remember, it's not about selling, it's about providing opportunities actually to people. As I say, I hope that you found that useful and interesting. If you would like any questions, clarifications, got any thoughts, any ideas, any good practice, anything that you've seen work, either at clubs that you're part of or clubs that you visited, then now's the opportunity to do so. So anybody want to start us going? So Mary, you've raised your hand. You want to unmute yourself?
Because you muted me, whether I wanted it or not. Anyway, it's very interesting to me. I like the things you're saying, but I think you need to think of, I'm in an e-club, which is a different way of working, obviously, but just as good. But it's a choice for people if they want to know. And I don't think we're that good at telling people about how wonderful we are. So, and I've done all this. I'm just a president-elect or whatever, going to be president, and I've done lots of training about it. And but that's a set, because I think it's nice to, as there are only 27 people, which isn't many, we could have breakout rooms and we could have a proper chat. And because that's to me, this is asking people, how did they join Rotary in the first place? That somebody said that, I know, Colin probably, because my story or my journey is interesting, I think, anyway.
Right.
So it's collecting these experience or case studies, if you like.
And encouraging people to say those stories appropriately in a way that will engage actually with their audience. So apologies, Mary, that we didn't take the opportunity to reflect that the experiences will be similar but different actually for e-clubs, and I hope there was some learning that you could take on board. And if you want to have a conversation with Manolo, who's the public image lead specifically for District 1100.
Is he on this call?
Manolo's on this call, and everybody's contact details will be shared subsequently and is on the district website and available through lots of different sources. And I'm sure he can put some contact details in the chat and things. But
in a way, you have too much information. I mean, because you had less information, you've now gone a bit over the top at this one, GB&I. There is masses of stuff. There's the learning centre with lots of stuff, and how you tell members about that without putting them off.
Absolutely.
And nobody's mentioned the learning centre.
No, there's lots of different tools and opportunities, and some of that is around induction, isn't it, and mentoring actually of new members. That's particularly key, and that isn't just a 6 months to 12 months. It's actually being there. It's some people call it buddying, supporting people during their journeys, pairing people up, can learn and find together, taking the opportunities to attend events within your district where these things are shared.
Well, as you know,
Rotary puts on lots of different events for people to learn.
I'll stop soon because I see Manolo's got his hand up as well. What I'm trying to say is that lost my train of thought now because you kept talking. Like I keep talking. That's why I'm in Rotary. I talk a lot. Because what you need to emphasize in your talking here, that we, as Rotarians, we pay our fee or whatever it is, and therefore we can go anywhere, to any club.
Absolutely. You can visit any
club. I don't think people remember that. And they have these these scatter meetings or something, which is an old-fashioned way of, so, and I was thinking of that, Sam talking about the young man, or younger man. And I wonder, what does scatter meetings mean? And I don't think you're just expected to know. Do you know what I mean?
We made it very clear that there's a lot of jargon, there's a lot of terminology that's great to explain to people, and different clubs adopt and use different traditions, and it's great that clubs are different and can find their own way. So thank you, Mary, for sharing those thoughts and things. Bernard, you had your hand up next, and then we'll come to you, Manolo, if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. It's just echoing something that Colin said. So, Colin, nice to see you again after all these years.
Yes,
Hope keeping
Bernard.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the bit about engaging with people. One of the tomes that I've used all my life is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey.
Brilliant.
I thought Colin was going through habit 5 there very thoroughly. First seek to understand and then seek to be understood.
Brilliant.
So I just wanted to echo and commend that. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you. And please pass on my regards to everybody at Thornbury.
I will do.
I like curiosity. That's a good thing.
Yep, it is. You're very right. So Manolo, thank you for joining us tonight and representing District 1100.
Thank you. Thank you. First, congratulations. Very good information. I really learned a lot. I've been in Rotary only 16 months, so that's great. Mary, I put my email in the chat, tagged you specifically. We can have a chat more in deep of any question you might have. Quick thing, Andy, for the team. When Sam mentioned this idea that I think is brilliant. When some organization or some volunteers engage with Rotary, that's a good chunk of the journey there, right? They've experienced us, they've seen, we have their information. And you mentioned this, and Liu, I think you said something where they can email them. I've had a similar experience with my own club where we run a thing called community awards. So there's people in these organizations that we give them grants, more than 100 by now. But when I ask for their information to talk to them about something else, to expand our reach and thinking there are potential members there, I was facing challenges because apparently we cannot get in touch with them unless they've specified it was for a specific community activity. You know, if I want to talk to them later about something else, for example, in my case, it was about an artificial intelligence webinar, I couldn't. So I just wanted to have a sense from you guys, how can we overcome that? One thing that we've been talking in our club is when they enroll in anything, they have to opt out of not receiving communications from us from something else. So I know this is GDPR related, I don't want to get too technical, but maybe you guys can give me a little help in how to reach people that already know us and are, in theory, easier to convince. Thank you.
In simple terms, it's getting people to opt in to communications, getting their consent to do so. GDPR is a whole different issue that we can do a subsequent webinar if people want to, but in simple terms, is getting people's consent to receiving information from us about something different than the purpose in which they gave us those contact details. If they gave us contact details to register for an event, then technically there are reasons why you can do, particularly around soft opt-ins and things. But in simple terms, the easiest way is to get a consent to be kept in touch with in broad terms rather than specifically around the event. But very happy to talk that through. If anybody's a legal expert here and wants to add to that, has got greater news.
I think at least then we should all have that in mind so that we can reach out.
We can talk to our district compliance officers that I'm sure that would want to make sure that, you know.
It's me.
Okay, Jules, please jump in.
Thank you.
Andy,
So I am District 1200's one for that, and we had a meeting very recently with the lovely Rebecca at Compliance at GBNI, and you do have to be very aware of what you're asking people to sign up for, and you have to be very careful about what you are recording it for and for how long you're recording it, because it has to be quite specific about that. So it's about making sure that your landing pad or your forms that you are collecting is actually quite specific about what you're going to use it for and how long you're going to keep that data for. So it's not that you can't do it in a general form, like Andy's saying, that's absolutely fine. But you do have to make sure that you say that you're going to keep it for, 5 years or 2 years. Or
that's right.
And in fact, actually, it was recommended that we shouldn't be keeping anybody's data for more than a couple of years unless we've got specific need. So there is actually information on the GBNI members website. So if you want to go in and look at that, then there is more information there.
Thank you, Jules, and we can share that subsequently as part of the link. And the other thing to do is make sure if you are keeping data on behalf of Rotary, that you're keeping it secure.
Yeah,
that's the other key thing that we could and should be doing. So
yeah, not in USB format. That is absolutely not in USB format. Yeah. And please don't use the chat GPTs that are not English, because that's breaking GDPR.
Yeah, and it's not secure data anyway.
It's not secure.
It's open in the public domain, and
exactly.
Lots of different things to think about and consider. And thank you for highlighting some of those. And a good question, Manolo. Tony, bring us up to date from sunny Bristol.
Well, yes, I'm not going to mention anything about GDPR, because I think that is a bit of a minefield. Just what we do is we have a privacy notice where we get people to sign up in as broad a sense as possible when they sign up to a particular event, and indicate that we're going to keep their details, and unless they opt out, that we will tell them about other Rotary events that we'll be organising. But the particular point I wanted to raise, which is picking up, and by the way, it was, absolute masses of content, which I think we'll need to reflect on with the recording and the slides afterwards, because there was so much there. The particular thing which I think is a challenge for most Rotary clubs is that the average age, I think, of Rotary, I don't know what the current figure is now, but it's probably around about 74 or something. And therefore, if you have a program which says bring a friend along, the typical friend that most people will bring along is their 74-year-old friend that looks and feels like them. And obviously that's an easy conversation for everyone to have. The real challenge that we have, I think, is to go down at least probably 1.5 generations to get into people in business. And one of the ways that we've talked about doing this, and I won't say that we've got all the answers or that we've been particularly effective, but people say to me, well, I've only got people my age, those are the only people I know. I say, well, you've got a dentist, presumably, you've got a vet, you've got the builder that comes along, you've got the postman, there are lots of people that you interact with on a day-to-day basis and probably have conversations with on a day-to-day basis. And I think if you can be more alert to the fact that some of those people might actually be interested in what you're saying and what Rotary does and so forth, it crosses over into a different generational cohort.
You're very right, Tony. And inviting a group of those people all at once can have a big impact. So they don't feel alone. It's like,
absolutely,
along the way can have a big impact. So some very good points that you made there. So Guy, you've got your hand up as well. Everybody from District 1100.
Yes, from District 1100. Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Loud and clear.
Just going to say a little bit like the last gentleman was saying, that we have a problem with, I'm considerably younger than most of my group. Most of our group are in their 80s. Most of them are going to be winding down in the next couple of years because of ill health, etc. And the problem we have is if somebody slightly younger wanted to join, they'd come along to a meeting and they'd look and it's a bunch of old people, not terribly exciting. And the other problem, I think, is just keeping current Rotarians engaged. I'm conscious that I don't know how many people you invited to this meeting, Andy, but there's 28 people here out of the whole of the cluster, out of 4 districts. So it's not a great deal of people and I think these are the diehard Rotarians. If they're switching on a Tuesday evening to this, and we can only muster sort of 28, that's a bit of a challenge.
So sometimes, you're very right in all the things that you're saying, Guy. Sometimes it's better to have a smaller number of people that are engaged and want to take action as a result. And the other thing to remember is that this is deliberately being recorded. So this, in some extent, is a means to an end. This recording will be available for you all to actually review, and also others that can't be with us. And it may well be, there's president-elect training going on at the moment. There will be senior Rotarians that are involved in facilitating, as well as Rotarians that are attending meetings like that. So make no bones about it. Yes, we would love to see more people. We will do our best, and perhaps we could get some feedback from, talk to people that aren't here about why the numbers are what they are tonight. But you're very, the points that you made are very good ones, Guy. We need to have a think about the age and demographic. We need to make sure that the clubs that we're either putting forward are warm and welcoming, or think about what used to be called extension, passing on the gift of Rotary by being part of a partnership to form a new club that might be attractive to younger people actually in business without losing members that have dedicated and committed so much. We're beginning to run out of time, but thank you for those excellent points. Lynn, you've got your hand up, and then we'll come to you, Sam, before we ask Mike to make some final comments.
Just one comment. Thank you very much. Sorry you can't see me. I think my camera's off for some reason. In Pershore, what we're doing, April is the environmental month for Rotary. It's one of our areas of focus. We're gathering up all the local information about various environmental projects, for instance, community orchards, wetlands and so forth. I'm going to put them on Facebook so that the community can know it and know that Rotary is promoting it.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Another top tip from District 1100. Big round of applause for District 1100. So for the contributions tonight. So really proud of the district that I'm pleased and proud to be part of. Sam, you had your hand up for a while.
Yeah,
It
was only in relation to what I was saying about the follow-up email. I think it was on a secure platform and it was part of the signature. So it should always be a part of the signature of the club related to that one event. And then, of course, as you were saying about if you want to opt in the future, but that just gets tedious.
Equally well, you've got to give people the opportunity to opt out. If you communications, it goes on and on and on and on. And we're not trying to put forward detailed answers tonight, but thank you for that point, Sam. If you're very quick, Mr. Curry, another contribution from District 1100 or pearl of wisdom?
No, it's no pearl of wisdom, I'm afraid, Andy, tonight. No, I think the content has been excellent. It's been very, very sound, very sensible, very down to earth, very easy to grasp. The tragedy, I was just picking up on what Guy was saying. Just can we all think and work hard to get this out to as many clubs as we possibly can? Because there's an awful lot of very, very good stuff here. And it's a tragedy that it's just going to be limited to 28 people. So I know we're going to have the recording. I know we're going to have the slides. But if all of us can make every effort to try and get this out as wide as we can, we'll have done Rotary a great service. That's all I want to say.
And thank you, Jim, for making those points. And for those people that don't know Jim is the my equivalent within membership. So coordinates the membership leads within the full district. And thank you to you and the membership team for all that you do. If you're very quick, Maggie, we might be able to squeeze in your final thought before we come to Mike.
I wanted to thank Colin for putting the link to the TEF shop in the chat box, but just for everybody, it's actually available. If you go into the public section of the Rotary GBNI website, everything you need to do with public image, including links to the TEF shop, are all there.
Great. Thank you for clarifying that, Maggie. That's much appreciated.
And Andy, you've got Sharon desperately waving at you.
Oh, have I? Sorry, I can't see that.
You're missing
Sharon.
Hi.
Sorry.
I had your name on my thing, Andy. So sorry.
Oh, sorry, Sharon. Apologies.
I'm District 1200. Just so you know, there's another district involved.
Thank you.
Yes, we had a recommendation for a corporate membership that we should approach our local undertaker.
Okay.
Because we're a very old club, but we all, are in contact with her, and she's brilliant.
Brilliant.
But it's a wonderful club, 44 members. I'm going to be president for the third time, and I could use any help I can get.
Okay, well, the district team are there to help you and talk, to help take things forward, including your very own district governor. So if I could call to the stage, as it were, Mike Q to say some.
Mike. I wanted to ask him who's my AG next year. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm sure Mike will take that forward separately with you, Sharon. But if before we run out of time, if I could just ask Mike to just say a few final words and comments and thoughts to take us.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Rotarians, for attending this evening and giving up an hour of your time. I totally agree. It's a shame that this is got more people. But I do wonder if this is something which we need to look at and maybe, doing shorter and smaller training sessions over different times periods. Because the Zoom's easy and everybody can get access to it. So maybe this is something we need to look at. just basically a big thank you to Andy, Sam, Colin and Maggie for their time and efforts put for this evening. Very worthwhile, and thank you very much indeed for all your time you spent. I'm just going to do a couple of sum up bits basically, which I've just written down over this evening. Card machines were suddenly talked about. Don't forget, there's an awful lot less cash about. Card machines are really easy. They're not expensive. They cost about £30, and quite a lot of them now you can do it on your phone. But very easy to use, and most people pay more money by you doing it over a card machine than you would do in cash.
Yep.
Going back to the club, being welcoming, being engaging, that's all we're asking. We're not asking you to change the rules or anything, just that's what we want. And, you know, that's what people from outside Rotary are looking for. Don't crowd people or push them to join Rotary, as that will just put them off. It's a drip feed. Work with people, and slowly, and it might take 6 months, it might take a year, but you'll get there. Have good public image. We've talked about that a lot this evening. Promote your club and Rotary. People don't have to join a Rotary club. This is Sam just hinted on this. Tell them of alternative memberships. Yeah, there is the E-Club, direct membership, corporate membership, and all that is available to them. One club does not fit all. And the biggest thing which I've been pushing in District 1200, and this is where I seriously think where District can help, and we are there for you. District is there to support the members. District is there to support the clubs. We are not there to tell you what you're doing and what you're not doing. We are there to support you, and please, use your public image leads, use your membership leads. They are there to support you, and your DGs and the DGEs are also there to support you. So just reach out. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those wise words, Mike. Much appreciated. And again, thank you to Colin, Maggie and Sam, who together with Manolo from District 1100 are all there, as Mike has said, to support you along the way. I'm sorry that we've overrun slightly. Hope that you've all, though, enjoyed the evening, and watch out over the next few days with an email with the links to the presentations and cheat sheets and a recording of this video. Thank you and good night.